Here we are, chatters. Avast ye, mates. I'm trying to open a chat more than just less. We need to confront something. We need to confront something within us as Christians. Is dating of God. I read a book years ago called I Kissed Dating Goodbye by Joshua Harris. Shows a guy tipping his cowboy Stetson. Book has some very solid points in it. And I would encourage chat and thoughtful discussion today on this. Is it Christian? Hi, Sangeeta. How are you? Showing your beautiful Kathmandu city. That's good. Yeah, I like it when you show the street life. Gives me an idea of what life is like in your place. Those videos teach me a lot. I hope, Mina, that you and your family are doing well. No, I go to work today. You remember, you and I are in two totally different time zones. It's 3:30 in the morning over here. 3:30 in the morning. And I'm eating my wonderful snacks. Well, thank you. I missed my long hair, though. I need your snacks. I need to try some of your Nepalese food. I've never had Nepalese food. Never had Nepalese food. I don't even think we have a Nepalese restaurant here. Hello, Mr. Hinkle. How are you? Sangeeta, I don't watch anybody's live stream entirely. I review a lot of stuff. My friends send me links. I watch maybe 5 minutes of something. I don't have time. Now, there are some things that I will watch in their entirety because they're directly my interest. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes documentaries on things that I'm deeply into. But very few people do I watch their entire live stream. So never take offense at that. You're trying to get the watch hours. And I've told you, you have to find the sweet spot in YouTube that works for you and causes your channel to grow. For example, my channel is growing on my discussion, talking about issues that are dear and near to us in America and around the world, like the UK and Ireland and Scotland and Australia and New Zealand are coming on here because some of them are facing the same things America is. We're watching our culture erode. We're watching young people change the way we see things, and we're not liking that. Your channel has to have something that attracts people to it and makes them stay. And it will take time for you to find that. Hello, Tiny Mother. That's cute, Tiny Mother. That's cute. How are you? Well, but Sangeeta, that's my choice. you're not working. You live at home. And I'm going to be honest, you don't have my schedule. You don't work for a living. You're not busy working on your house and raking, and we got weather right now. I can't get anything done. It's freezing cold outside and wind's blowing. You too, Tiny. You know, you can't expect and demand somebody to watch your live stream. I have watched it. Sometimes you go to sleep and you leave it rolling and there's nothing there. I'm looking at a dark screen and hearing you sleep. I can hear you breathing. Why do you guys do that? I'm not attacking. I'm just asking a question. Why do you roll your video when you're sleeping? I don't want to watch any video with somebody asleep. I can't even see you. You're just. Who wants to watch that? I know you're not snoring. I'm being funny. I love you, Mina. You're a very interesting woman, but, you know, I like to watch some of your shorts of you dancing and some of the music. It's fun. The live streams, they don't hold my fascination as much. My mind is intellectual. I need to be engaged that way. Anyways, back to the subject at hand. Yeah, Tiny, and you can always test the waters. There's people that are regulars to me that are starting to do things, and I always encourage that. Sangeeta, yes. You have to look at our cultures. You've got more time on your hands than I do. Most Americans sleep 8+ hours. I went to bed just before 8 and I woke up at 1. So that's 5 hours sleep. Most Americans don't do 5 hours. So you see me more because I wake up early. But that's rare. That's rare. Well, I'm not big. I'm not big. I'm bigger than I was. Mina, there's channels out there that have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of subs. Not everybody's going to grab the attention of giant numbers of people. The stuff that I talk about on my channel, it's never going to go viral. Because we live in a world system that's pretty hostile to God and conservatism. So I'm only going to track people of like minds. And that's pretty much true of every channel. You got people that start pet channels. They're going to attract all the pet lovers. You're going to have the classic car channel. People that are into Priuses are not going to watch the classic car channel. Because a classic Prius will never be a classic. Schopenhauer, is he the one that talked about women in society and some of, I think if you're talking about this, some of his stuff is right on. He accurately nails things. If you and I are thinking of the same person, Tiny. Mina, I love you for you. You're unique. You're Nepalese. You wear pretty fashion. I like your energy. But that's the way we all are. There's certain things I like in certain individuals. Hello, Gabby. Yes. Stephen, yes. You didn't get blocked, did you? Oh, here we go. I honestly don't think dating. Yes, and we're going to go back to that. I apologize. We never see any examples of couples who date each other in the modern conception anywhere in the entire Bible. That's right. So let's launch into this discussion. Hello, Paul. Hello, Jordan. And welcome, everybody. I'm all right, Jordan. It's Friday. And I get 2 days. Oh my gosh, 2 days of weekend go by faster than a day at work. What's wrong with this world? We need to go down to a 4-day work week like Holland does. I'm all for that. So, is dating scriptural? You guys ready for this? Let's talk about me just in a nutshell, and let me tell you what I believe, okay? I grew up in a non-Christian, normal American home. Our family consisted of Methodists, Mormons, Catholics, non-church. And I grew up watching TV like everybody else. And every movie is the same in America. At least it was for decades. Mystery, adventure, and always a girl with her nipples sticking out. Always a girl with her nipples protruding through her outfit. Always. Always in every Hollywood. That is a main ingredient. Like wheat flour to cookies and cake. And they have trained us men to notice that. Coca-Cola's used pretty women. Car companies have used pretty women. Commercial advertising and consumerism always link sexuality with the need for their product. Okay? Hello, Will. How's the wealth? Oh my gosh. That's a big question. I'm not sure what you mean, but let me stick to the topic here. I don't know how you tag it. I can glance at it. 70s cinema. Yes, Chance. But 80s too, and 90s. All right, let's stick to topic. I'm going to tell my chatters. I'm giving a directive. We're going to stick to the dating thing. All these side issues, not now. Please, respect that. Oh, gotcha. I'm like, wealth. Yeah, it's cold. It's 25 right now. And we had a wind yesterday. Chad, I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, let's stick to the issue. This is why I turn off chat, folks. Everybody wants to sidebar, sidebar, sidebar. The question, the topic is dating. Is it of God? I dated many, many women in my life. Philippine, Chinese, Korean, black, white, Hispanic. Joshua Harris wrote a book, I Kissed Dating Goodbye. Good stuff. I read it. Another woman at the church I was attending asked if she could borrow it. She spilled her coffee all over it, but she did buy me another copy. Women and their beverages. Why? Dating in America has always been based on unscriptural principles. Get alone with the one, pick her up, backseat the car, go to the movies, and all the guy's thinking about is that thing between his legs. That's it. Can I get my hands under her bra tonight? It's a date mate society. And Christians are just as guilty as the world. And we have been able to try this used car and this used car and this new car and this. Even Christians that come on my channel saying that they believe in trying out before marriage. Is that what this says? Does the Bible tell us, go ahead and have sex with this woman and give it a shot? Is that what the Bible teaches? No, it doesn't. The Bible say go ahead and goosey up her shirt, Paul says it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Did you see that? We know the power of that touch, men. Women know the power of that touch. But it is better to marry than to burn with passion. But you have to be careful, because many times we marry based on lust, and those marriages end up in the dumpster, and it turns into a dumpster fire that you can't put out. We do not, as Christians, take relationships and marriage seriously at all in America. 2026. That is a lie, lie, lie. We have cheapened marriage. We have cheapened the whole dating process is about playing a game. Even my own friends, I just want to get laid. Yep, date and mate, girl after girl after girl after girl after girl. And it damages the women more than it damages us. Have you noticed that? Bible says when you have sex, you become one flesh. One flesh. And we don't realize as men the significance of that. That woman wraps her entire being around you. And you go get it on with her, and you suddenly wake up the next morning and could have had a V8 and realize, I don't want to be with this. Now you've just broken somebody's heart. Scar tissue is established, and the woman's pains are deep. No, I'm almost 60 and dating is not right. And yet I say I want to date. I say I want a girlfriend. What is my reason for wanting a girlfriend? Many. But among them is the need to get physical. And God's very clear in his word about sexual immorality. And we treat that so petty. We've all done it. We've all done it. And that's good, Tiny. You got a standard in place. I've got it. And do not think I'm ignoring. If I could do it over again, Chad, I'd do a lot of things over. I wouldn't have married the wife that I married, which is ongoing problems today. Through our child, who's an adult. There is tension and there is problems because we together made a choice to race into a marriage after 5 weeks of total strangers. Man, I cannot underscore that when we make a decision and race ahead of the will of God, we will suffer the consequences of it. My supervisor pays $1,800 a month in child support. $1,800. This is the South, folks. He's not bringing home fat money. I'm going to be honest. We are rebellious. I want everybody in the room to admit that right now. Even as Christians, we all suffer from rebelliousness deep within ourselves. Submission doesn't come easy for Americans. Does it? Does submission by any of us come easy with us as Americans? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Yeah, well, K-Van, that's a whole nother story. No, that wasn't right. But Stephen, but you guys made a choice and you're still working through it. That's awesome. When I stand before God on that day, whatever I believe right now, the truth is going to be wide open in front of my face, whatever that is. That's why in the Bible it says he will wipe away every tear from their eye. Why are we crying? Because when we stand before God, we're going to be crying about how we came to him when we got saved and how we did not live the full potential of what he wanted to do in us. Our culture is a hindrance to godliness. Hollywood, our public education system, our peers, our word culture forcing if you got transgender, you have to call that man or woman, even if it's a man, because if you don't, you can get fired. That right there is a bunch of BS. If you really want to live for Jesus Christ, you will have trouble all day long in this culture. Unless you go be a monk and pull out of it all, even then you're still going to have your rebellion. Even then you're still going to be tempted with sin. St. Augustine talks openly about it. He was lustful to the core. Living a monastic lifestyle does not make you holy. You have to be positionally made holy by the work Christ did. But the working out of our salvation is the rub. That's right, K-Van. That's right. And when you go to Asia, when you go to the Philippines, women over there, they are ready to prove to the American they're in love and they will give freely sexual. That's a fact. No man is going to go all the way across the ocean. Well, let me qualify that. Most men are not going to go all the way across the ocean without getting some wiki by the end of the trip. I'm going to tell you something, K-Van, and the rest of you. Sit down, because you're going to be shocked when I tell you this. Last 2 Saturdays, go to the flea market. There's certain vendors I chat with. There's a guy. He's older. I don't know him. I've seen him 2 Saturdays now. Walking through the flea market with a girl on his arm. I looked and I chuckled. I said, oh my gosh, look at that. Filipina, much younger, very attractive, wearing her little cutesy, skin revealing everything. He's no find. And he's going through there proud as can be, clearly wanting to be seen with this beautiful dame. I looked at her, she looked at me, I smiled, she smiled. One of my lady friends, who is nowhere near as attractive as that Filipina, selling phone accoutrements, covers and chargers and all that. She said, I was talking to this guy because he asked about a phone case and she was glaring at me. I said, yes, they're very jealous over there. She's like, Mike, I have no interest in him. She goes, and look at how young. I said, I know. I thought the same thing. He's got yellow fever and he's parading around. I got my Asian girl. I thought, yeah. Wow. Mark, I've dressed appropriately many times on the channel. Now, come on. Right on this one. This is the first time you've come on here and seen it. But, yeah. So is anybody going to come to the auction tomorrow? Anybody going to pay for this stuff for me to get rid of it? Let's see what people do. It might be a total bust, but at least we can have some fun chat. I'll hold up each item. You can bid on it. You can pay me to burn it, or you can pay me to send it to you. For all those little people that got little fetishes and want to sleep in something that I wore, okay, there's your chance. If you want me to get rid of it, you can buy it. Pay me back. Because you're all getting something out of this channel. And I have not demanded everybody donate and force the issue, but seriously, you go pay $8 for a cup of coffee. You go pay for all the crap you pay for, but you don't want to give a dime to good content that you get something out of? Now, I admit, I'll be honest, I don't support any channel financially. Why? Because I've said the same thing about myself. YouTube is free. What amazes me is the stuff that people throw their money at on YouTube. Girls showing skin. I'm not talking about undressing, just being provocative and slut-teasy. All the dumb stuff that's out there. Toilet seat dude. The whole Ewu affair. There is a huge disparity in our society. If you're a fairly attractive girl, even if you're not, you're skinny and you're petite, covered in sleeve tattoos, fake blonde hair down to your pelvis, and saying dumb things, and you got people throwing $150, $50 on the... Why are these people giving this girl all this money? She was just married to this cry guy. Now she wants money. She's got a donate button to raise money for her divorce. Grown men paying for somebody's divorce. Tell me that men aren't simps. Tell me that men are not simps. Do I believe soulmates are a real thing? I used to. Right now, I'm undecided. All right. Dating is against the holiness of God to compromise with a woman you're not married to. Our culture has been slick and clever of how to get around all that. Well, we won't have sex. Okay. You're just doing all this in the back seat of the car. I love feeling a woman's breast. But can I tell you something? All that does is ignite passion. You're all horned up. That's all you can think about. You're not building anything. You're feeling her nipples and you're sitting there going, ooh, baby. That's it. And then you wonder why that burns out. Because it was all based on that. I don't even know how to go about courting. I'm at a point now where I'm pretty much believe that I don't think God has marriage for me in the cards. I just don't think so. We talk about church music, I want more of you. Do we really mean that? Every time you make love to a woman, damage is done. Damage is done. You've disobeyed God if you're not married to that woman, period. Look at Mary. Look at the life of Mary. Her husband. Now, I don't know how Joseph did this. He was betrothed to her. He did not do anything with her sexually. And once he was made aware that Jesus was in there, he did not have relations with her sexually until after he was born. Are you serious? He took her to be his wife. He would have had every right to poonge her. Think about that. We men aren't like that. America has done a disservice to us, to me. TV dinner society. I want it now. I want that car now. I want to buy that. I'm going to go do that. We got too many freedoms to just jump impulsively. And we've done it with women. Men, let's be honest. Fast lane shifted into overdrive, baby. We've done it. The 80s, the 70s. I mean, we watched movies. Remember the original Pink Panther? Talk about cheesy. They're up there having sex in that fancy penthouse suite, and the whole back of the wall of the building falls off, and there they are, buck naked in bed, and everybody on the street can look up, and there they are. Cheesy. That's what we grew up on. Sex, and more sex. It was normalized. In fact, if you didn't have a girlfriend on your arm, guys would say, you gay? Back in the day. Dating is mini, M-I-N-I, marriages. Meet up, hook up, have sex, then go through the whole breakup and withdrawal and scar process. Watching grown men, my own friends over the years, going ape crap over a girl. So much so that they become needy and bothering them. And then she says, I'm out of here. And he's an emotional soup. Is that what God wants? No. Lust is not a reason to marry. Well, it's better to marry than burn with passion. Yeah, you can use that verse to justify you rushing in because you're all horny for her. That is not what that means. Mike, it is. You have to use wisdom in choosing a wife. And when your boner's involved, that's the problem. It destroys the woman more than us men. We men bounce back pretty good. We tend to be conquerors. Up, I bagged the summit on that chick. Plant my little flag on Everest. Listen to men in the workplace. Back in the day, bragging about all their conquests, and the other guys standing there, wow, you got to knock her up, huh? They're all bragging about it, and they're all getting mileage out of that crap. What is send the messages? How do you move on from someone you loved? If I could answer that, I'd be rich. time, process, confession, speaking to God, getting in the Word, prayer. We don't talk about imprinting, bonding. Men want to get their ding dong wet. Men want to release their rocks. The urge to satisfy the urge is so powerful. When you are inside a woman, you got a lot of women that really want to be faithful. They want a one man. You got women out there in society in America that are burnt out. They're not good wives because they've been hurt by man after man after man, and they kept looking, even after all that. The damage sometimes cannot be reversed. When you have sex, you become one with a person. The Bible says that. You go get with a prostitute, you become one with a prostitute. You have sex with a married woman, you become one with her. And you join yourself to all these, every woman I've had sex with, there's a oneness that occurs. And when you try to pull away from that, there's a lot of mental rental space going on in your head. Look at that song, Mambo Number 5. I love the music, but it's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Little bit of Rita is all I need. Little bit of Sandra in the sun. Little bit of Jessica in my life. You're woman after woman after woman after woman. And I can say at almost 60, in 2026, dating is a sin. It is an excuse. It has been legitimized and rationalized because Hollywood pushed it, secular society pushes it, and even the church pushes it. The church, evangelical churches, Methodist Youth Fellowship, MYF. Boy, they encourage Christian guys and girls to get together. I remember my cousin said, I felt up more girls during MYF in the church than anywhere else. Hands under the shirt. You think church is going to keep you from doing that? Shoot, you're sitting in a corner in an empty room somewhere, and ooh, baby, ooh. That's it. Men and women cannot be in the same space together when you're in heat. And then you're going to try to be godly about it. What a joke. Let's go to a dark theater. Let's go park in the dark somewhere and sit there and get all emotional overlooking Inspiration Point. Do you know how many boobies I felt with my hands in my truck? Even the women that were not my date. One that had a boyfriend, but he hardly spent time with her. She was a coworker of mine. Beautiful white woman. I wanted to date her. I wanted to be involved with her. Never told you about her, did I? Mary. I got done with bus routes and she said, can you massage my neck and shoulders? And she let me. And I did it. We'd sit in her SUV and I'd massage her. And then she said, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, nothing. I got some stuff to do in the morning. She goes, can we hang out? We went to Lair the Bear in Jefferson County. We walked up a creek in the woods on a beautiful Colorado day. She took her shirt and bra off and let me rub her down proper. Oh, of course that's fun. It was awesome. A violation of God. Gosh, her nipples look so good in that Colorado sun. Yeah, I've done some wild stuff. And I admit it. It's still right there. It's still right here. And it never goes away. Hello, Cheryl. How are you? I can remember every girl whose breasts I allowed my hands to roam that never leaves you. Hello, Nikki. Doesn't matter, even if I found a wonderful woman and we were a fit. You think all those memories are going to go away? Never. Never. She had nice breasts too, perky nipples. I mean, man. I took her to dinner one night. I said, you talk about this guy, but you hardly see him. And yes, she was living with her ex-husband. They weren't doing anything. He drove a bus. She was a bus monitor. To me, she was a good-looking woman. I'd stretch out on the bench seat, lean against my driver's door. We parked on Green Mountain in Colorado, overlooking Denver at night. She undid her shirt and let me wander all over her. I said, how come you let me get close to you? And she goes, because you make me feel good. And I just figure every man wants to touch them. I said, well, of course I do. I said, why won't you go out with me? Well, I really like Raul. Yeah. And isn't there a guy on YouTube talking about monkey branching? So it's not just men. I had felt her up many times. We never had sex. I wanted her. She had a soft disposition. I liked the smell of her hair. I got to say, I've been with a lot of women overseas and everything. She was the one white woman I thought I would have given her a chance. But she had her eyes on somebody. He didn't want to commit to her. And this is what's weird about society is women will go after men that don't want to commit to them. I've gone after women that I'm not good enough for them to commit to, but they want my touch, they want my attention, they want my time. Isn't that funny? You got a man who wants to love the snot out of you. I liked Mary. When I first met her, I thought she looks like a strung out bar chick. She'd give me looks and I thought, yeah, she's all arrogant. She was staring at me one day and started talking to me and shocked the hell out of me how nice she was. Found out she was a conservative, claimed to believe in God. You know, it breaks my heart because women and men are all a mess. I could talk all day about the garbage of women, but men too. Let's be fair. We're all messed up. And us 70s, 80s kids are the worst. We grew up with a lot of good things, but we grew up with a lot of cultural detriments. And I've said it about this. We grew up with cultural Christianity, not biblical, and it is hard for us Gen Xers to come back to biblical. We all agree with each other on my tough messages, but to live it out is a handicap for us because we were infected and raised by Hollywood. Tell me I'm lying. I still think about Mary's tits. They were nice. They weren't huge. They were the perfect size. Then when I started actually dating a black woman, this is a true story. I was always tender and sweet to her. She could complain to me about her issues and I'd listen. I even gave her $100 once. And you know why I did it? I said, I don't have a girlfriend, and thanks for letting me spend time with you. I know you got your eyes on somebody else, but I appreciate the fact you let me get close to you. And yeah, you know what's sad? When I started dating this black woman, I was walking through the break room and I was facing out the windows towards Bronco Stadium. You could see it from our Denver Schools break room. And I turned around real fast and I bumped her. I didn't see her coming and she got so mad. I said, Mary, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see you. She blew up. And even other people in the room turned around like, what the hell? Nobody knew that she and I were doing all that. They see us talking. Funny, people in the break room accused me of dating 3 different women that I'd never had an interest in. I said, how do y'all figure I'm dating these 3 women? Will you talk? I said, I talked to all of you. So stupid. So I walked in the break room out loud one day and I said, I didn't realize in Denver when you talk to another woman that constitutes sexual intercourse. And one of the women said, oh my gosh, Mike, did you just say that? I said, you guys sit in here and gossip all day long. If I've got a girlfriend, you're going to know it. You guys are stupid. And I walked out the door. Talking to the opposite sex does not constitute a sexual relationship. They didn't even know about the plethora of women that I did date in there. Like Ramona. Oh my gosh. Ramona was pretty, but she had a wild look. She was Native American and Hispanic. Long jet black hair, looked like a biker, but was cute. They didn't know that we went out. I romped her in under a grove of aspens in Golden Gate State Park. No, not San Francisco, but up in the Rocky Mountains. She asked me to take her to drop her car off to get a radiator. She goes, what are you doing? And she had on her, oh my gosh. I said, well, nothing. What did you have in mind? She goes, let's go for a ride. Oh, we went for a ride. We went up into the mountains. It was a beautiful day. And I promptly laid her in the meadow, and we did it. Under an aspen grove. I have to say, it was really nice. But you know what? I wasn't into her as a committed relationship. I was into her because she was wild and exotic. How many times I did the deal, and even me, I knew, well, I don't want to commit to a relationship with her. But she's offering me free milk, so let's drink from the breast. And I've been honest about my flaws. I've got many. How do we grow towards Christ? How do we grow towards holiness? How do we unbreak the traditions that we tenaciously hold on to? Are you really tiny? If a girl doesn't like the way you look and you go up to her, you're a creep, boom. That is a disorder of American women. They'll go out in public. Did I show you this? Let me show you this. I did a video at lunchtime yesterday. Guy was shooting a video of a Ford, a brand new truck, going up in flames. Brand new F-150. This lady comes trooping down the street. She's got running shorts on. She's got kind of a runner shirt. But if you look carefully, if you zero in on that, she doesn't have a bra. We got a puffy nipple poking there, and she's got her. As soon as she comes in front of the camera, she's doing this. And I'm going, really, lady? You're out there in public like that, but then you see the camera and you're going to hide your tits. You're stupid. You're dumb. And I even took a couple of screenshots to zero in on her foolishness. Look at that. Are you serious? And by the way, she's slender, but she's obviously done something to her hair, put some sort of yellow or white frosting in it. I don't know why women do that. You're not a cupcake. Stop putting frosting in your hair. Ah! You're out there in public running around like that. You know that every man in their truck at every intersection is going, look at them jugs. Somebody even wrote in there, make sure and cover your jugs. I wrote, no bra and put cat laughter. Ha. You're a dumb woman. You're dumb. You're on the streets of America. And then you see the camera. Oh, now I'm going to be modest. Oh, please, lady. Everybody's gotten their eye full. And they're wishing they could get a mouthful, too. Stupid. Men and women in this chat room, raise your hands if you've ever gone to church and seen women in there claiming to be Christians with no bra, where you saw nipples poking through. I'll start. Let's see. I want to see if anybody's ever noticed that. We're talking about something, so work with me here. How many men and women have gone into church? You've seen women or many women, no bras, and they got cleavage and they got the nipples poking out. No horse feed during chat? What's horse feed? No horse. Oh, are you getting on me for eating my oats? Call me a horse. That's not nice. See, any women? Any women? You guys notice the way women dress? Any women notice that too? I'm not saying you're lesbian. Don't read anything into that. I'm just saying, do you see that? Why would a woman come to church with that kind of provocativeness? Well, because we men have to admit something very sobering. There's a lot of women that have what's called a Jezebel spirit. They know the power that their taunts have. And they want to see who notices them, even if they're not interested in us. It's a deficit of most American women. They want their attention gas tank filled, but they have no intention. Just like Mary. Man, I gave her good massages. She loved my attention, but that's all she wanted. Even when I moved here, I didn't aggressively chase any of the women at transportation. Some of them started sniffing around. They said, oh, they come over. They come in. I didn't ask them to do it. I had no intention. There's been a few black women from work that came over, and one asked if she could use my bathroom, and she left the door wide open. I said, hey, Tiff, you want to shut the door? I'm comfortable around you. And she got done, washed her hands, come out, and went like this. I said, what are you doing? You know what I've noticed about women? You don't have to ask them to pull up their shirt. I've never had to ask a woman to show me her tots. They just do it on their own, whether I've asked for it or not. I'll bet you within the next 2 years, there will be somebody that'll freely show me her breasts. I've never had to ask for that. I said, Tiffany, I can't date you. Why? I said, you got 3 kids. Well, I don't expect you to be baby daddy. I said, I'm not going to be a baby daddy. I said, you smoke pot? You smoke cigarettes? And I said, those are nice. She goes, you want to touch them? I said, heck yeah, I want to touch those chocolate nibbles. And I touched them and felt them and I kissed them. I said, now put your dang shirt on because I'm not going any further. This is the problem. Women tease the hell out of us, and they do it on purpose. And they'll walk right into my house and do it. Nobody's been in here in a long time. Hello, chicken. Hello, Cindy. Look, I'm honest. I'm a grown man. I'm not no virgin and I'm not no perfect. But women play a part in this as well. It's not just us. I've never held a gun to a woman's head and said, lift up your shirt. Ever. I don't need to. There's something indicative in women. They want to be noticed, even the ones that are married to good husbands. They want to be noticed by everybody else, even other women. Yeah, chicken. Did you get into the basement last night? Did you get down to zero? I can't look at the weather app because I'm streaming, but it was 25. It's going to be 24 before the sun comes up. But that wind yesterday was Arctic. Had to go to a semi-trailer and get some pallets. Went to start the forklift. Damn battery was dead because it was cold. The other forklift didn't work. I'm like, wow, you know what? I used to like this cold weather, but it sucks. Dating to me, and I'm being objective. If I had the chance to date a woman now, I would date her. But you asked me, is it biblical? No. Because we do a mini marriage. You date, you mate, and you don't date prudently. Now you got to be together every chance you get. Then you start getting heat. Then once you've discovered the Grand Kahuna under her shirt, it's over. It's over. It's over. And I think what I begin to see over time, what is potch? FCT Love, what are you writing? I'm seeing some weird stuff here. Tiny, where are you at? What state are you in? I don't have a buddy named Nick. We getting bots in the room? Well, heck, when I was in Duluth, Minnesota, we're talking 25, 30 below this time of year, at least then. Don't know what they're sporting today. Tiny, I couldn't do it, no. I don't speak for everybody, but me, I have to have intimacy. I have to have attraction to her. And not just an attraction to her body, but her affect. And I'm sorry to use the B word, but some women have that B thing going. I'm not attracted to that. The thing I liked about Mary in Denver is she had a kind disposition. The whole affect. She had long hair, and I liked smelling her hair. I liked holding her. I liked the way she felt. But she had her eyes on another guy. And so I've had heartache. Say, I just cannot have what I want. That has denied me. Somebody might ask, would you date that? I don't know that one. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Some women don't even have to be pretty, but if they got a nice shape of a chest and they're showing nipples poking through, man, we're so stupid. That's all we see. Women, if you want us to look you in the eye, stop showing your high beams. I'm just telling you. You got soft bras or no bra, or you got side boob or cleavage, don't expect us to look you dead in the face. It's very hard because we are wired men by sight. Nipples are not just for babies to suck on. They were made for us to suck on as well. And there are times when I have said to my friends, I just want a girlfriend to come over just to play with her breasts. Not just that, but to have a relationship. I don't have to go all the way anymore. Sex just gets messy. But that's what we've done in our date culture. We skirt around the edges, we rationalize it, we justify it. Hey, lady, how are you? Most beautiful women are not loyal. Well, now hold on a second. And maybe that's Sang's experience, so I'm not going to discount that. That's weird. The way this green screen is moving, it's making me look like some sort of a phantom or poltergeist. We got to get rid of that. I think everybody's seen enough of the jogger. Can I put something up here that's funny? Remember little golden books? Well, now they have spoofs on them. I saw that. I'm like, no, really? I just sent that to my friends the other day and said, well, that was a little golden book I never read. And I think I read them all. The Little Engine That Could, all those. Oh, my word. They got spoofs on Cat in the Hat, The Butt in the Hat. Or this one. This cracks me up. Liquid or solid, liquid or gas, what will come out of my... Yes, it's wrong. It's poor humor, but it did make me laugh. Good grief. I'm glad. Could you imagine if I came home from the public library with nobody wants to play with the smelly pussy? Son, where did you get that book? The school library. Oh my gosh. Wow. I remember buying like 50 little golden books for $10 in Ohio at a garage sale. And I ended up selling them to my supervisor when we left town. Those little golden books were good. I'll bet you if I had that set today, it'd be worth something. Three little kittens lost their mittens, yes. Why do we do what? I'm sorry. I like the artwork. Shows the sad kitty in the foreground and the three dancing in the background. Nobody wants to play with the smelly. I'm sorry. Just a friendly reminder that we all have to bathe because nobody smells good all the time, folks. Just a friendly reminder. Clean it up. The little critter golden books. Chicken told me she lives in, her house is an old general store turned into a school, and it's her house. She was saying she was using a kerosene heater to keep warm last night. I want that house. I'll open up the walls and insulate it. I want that house. I love old buildings, but yeah, some of those buildings are sold. All they did was clapboard, 2x4s, and inside planks, and that's it. I mean, you could yell at the walls, hello, hello, hello. There was no insulation in there. Dress inappropriate, then, oh, you're a perv. Yes. They did that at the rec center at Wheat Ridge, Colorado. I went in there every weekend. You get these, and I must say something. I hope I'm not stepping on toes. The really skinny, petite women are the biggest B words. They'll come in there in their little micro bikinis. Sprawl out on the top bench in the sauna or the steam room. I mean, stretched out. Naturally, you're going to walk in the door and look at who's looking there. And you got men of all ages and women. And some women are checking them out too. I'd walked in, I'm like, oh my, we got a little narcissistic princess taking the whole top shelf. And some older guy would walk in, wouldn't say a word, he'd just glance. All of a sudden, you see her sit up, bang her butt on the wooden bench. Oh my gosh, men are such pigs. And walk out the door and slam the door. And we're all looking at each other. Did anybody even say anything to her? And one guy said, all I did was look. I said, yeah. I said, see? And I'd have a discussion with these men that I don't. Said, you notice these women can dress like little slut teases. Somebody looks, just glances, and we're perverts. And then, boy, would we light it up. Yeah, I'm tired of all that crap. You don't want to be looked at, then don't wear that. Then the women say, I can dress the way I want. You can't touch. Okay, nobody touched. Nobody said nice tots. Nobody said nice butt. And you're getting mad. Oh, because it's not the guy you wanted to look at you. What do they expect? And that pisses me off. But let's talk about a Mongolian woman. I'm not going to lie. She was breathtaking. Muscular. She had that dark Mongolian skin. Long hair. I have a preference. Now, bear with me, ladies. I have a preference for Asians. However, because Asians are beautiful to me. But there's a lot of white women I've looked at, and I'm like, wow. So this Mongolian woman I was walking what they call the Lazy River. You can pull it up. You can look up the Wheatridge Rec Center. That was my stopping grounds. They had a big pool that I think was 6 feet at one end, shallow in the other. And the seniors would do their water aerobics. They'd have some big Dolly Parton totted 60-something-year-old woman who's built like Rambo with a big old blonde hair. All right, ladies, and she put on her boombox. These boots were made for walking. And that's just what they'll do. And the ladies are all doing their water thing to the music. I said, look at all them chicks out there doing their little water aerobics. And the ladies say, Mike, join us. I said, man, I can't do all that. The old ladies would ask me. I said, no, I'm good. I like the music, though. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more. Blasting through the rec center. They had a twirly slide. By the way, there was an Asian lady in there. She was 67 years old. She was Korean. She had worked at Coors in Golden at the porcelain division making ceramics. You would never know looking at her she was near 70. No doctoring up. She was good looking. Her body was tight. She had on a bathing suit. She had her grandchild there, granddaughter. She said, I will not go on that slide, but she wants to go down the slide. Can you? I'm like, I don't want to put somebody's kid in my lap. And no, I'm not perv that way. Could you please take her down the slide? I said, okay. So I put her on me. I said, you hold on, because when we get to the bottom, I'm going to hold your arms and lift you up so you don't go under. Because when you go down, you go under the water. And I used to go up there by myself. All the kids go up there. One day I went up there and I said, I'm going to go down the twirly slide. It's got a jet of water running down it. And there's a bar when you go up, right over the top of the slide. And I'd grab that bar and I'd throw myself. And when you do that, you go, and man, there was a stuck-up young lifeguard that would stand right there. And I knew what I was doing. She was awful. People made comments about how rude she is. And I told the guys over in the hot tub, I said, watch this. They said, what are you going to do? I said, watch. I said, watch me go down the slide. And they started laughing. They go, Mike's going to do something. Watch this. I would grab that bar and swing myself, land on my butt, and go down the slide. I'd hit that water just right, and boosh, and the water just nailed her. And I'd come up and wipe my face and just act like nothing had happened. And she's backing up, looking for a towel. And I didn't even look. I just played dumb. And I walk over, jump in the hot tub, and the guy said, "That was effing beautiful, Mike. You got her good." I said, "I am so tired of her stuck up. She thinks she all that over there." I said, "You go to ask a question about something, she's rude." Mike, you're not supposed to get revenge. I didn't. I gave her a bath. That's it. You know, she a lifeguard. She got her little sport swimsuit lifeguard thing on. She good. Yeah, if somebody's drowning, you got to jump in. So come on. She saw the way I went down that slide. The next time she saw me go up, she got the heck out of there. I'm going to be one of those old farts. I'm going to be one of those guys say, "Here, watch this. That snotty woman to watch this. I'm going to give her a taste her own medicine." It was awesome. And the guys, grown men, were like, "Mike's awesome. He just got her and she doesn't even realize that this was all planned." Yes. Oh my gosh. But I took this Asian lady's kid down. Appropriate. As we go down the slide, I grabbed her arms. I landed in the water and I held her up. Again. I'm like, oh, great. This is like dinosaurs. So we went down one more time. I said, "Okay, down, no more." That woman would bring me a banana. She'd bring me an apple. "Thank you so much. You know, I bring her here sometimes to have fun, but I don't want to go down that slide." She really enjoyed that. And she would tell me, "When am I going to go on the slide? When that man going to take me down the slide? That was fun." People know. I baptized her. "I baptize you in the name of the Lord. Come out from her, Satan. Come out. In the name of Jesus." Oh my gosh. You know what I like about this channel is I can be free to tell the truth. I can talk about what I've done and experienced because you know what? I'm not here to play dog and pony show. I believe in telling the truth. Just because we're Christians doesn't mean we're perfect. And none of us in this room is. We've all dated and mated. At least 99% of us. And I just seen some things that blow me up. But let's talk about the Mongol girl. She was a school teacher. She was stunning to me. I'm like, wow. Solid, muscular, more smaller breasted, beautiful face, beautiful features. I was doing the lazy river. And it's a jet stream of water, and the water's up to your chest. And most people would walk with the current. Not Michael. I go against it. And one day I tried to swim it. Folks, I'm here to tell you, I am Energizer Bunny. But trying to swim against that current, I did one lap around. But it was a fight. And even the people in there are like, "That's harder than it looks." I said, "Man, that is excruciating." They said, "But you did it." And I was walking. She said, "Hi." I said, "Hi." I said, "Hey, can I ask you, what country are you from?" I lived in Hong Kong. "I'm a married woman." I said, "No, I'm just asking you because I lived in Asia." And she gave me a rude response. I said, "I didn't mean anything by it." And I walked off. And I went to the steam room. I don't remember if it was the steam room or the sauna. And she comes in right up next to me. I'm really sorry. I was rude to you. I'm Mongolian. And I'm sorry. I said, "It's okay. I lived over there and I noticed Asians and I like to find out what country they're from." Then she wanted to talk to me about why I lived in Hong Kong. I said, "Well, I chased somebody. It didn't work out, but I love the culture." And I said, "I've always wanted to go to Outer Mongolia." She goes, "It's beautiful." So then she would talk to me every time. Then I saw her husband come in. And the husband did not look like the kind of a guy to get a woman like that. He looked like the classic nerd. And people said that about me because of the glasses, but he looked. And he came in. She introduced me to him. I said, hey, nice to meet you. And that was the end of that. Then one day, I was in the sauna. And I was laying down on, there was an L section of benches. I was on the top. And I had my head where the two benches intersected. And I was stretching, and people come in and go, you hear the door shut. And if there's not a lot of people, I'll sprawl out on the bench. If people start filing in, I'll sit up and make room. And I went to look, and somebody was real close to me, and I looked, and I turned over. She's laying on her stomach, and she leaned up. And I'm looking right at her face, and she grins. She goes, hi. I'm like, oh my. That was a signal. One day she said, I want to talk to you. Would you be willing to meet for coffee at a public place? And I thought, sure. We can do that. Let me know. Then a couple weeks later, she came in and she gave me a water bottle. She goes, I had an extra one. I said, yeah, I can use that. I didn't chase her or any of that. She goes, I was thinking about something. I'm married. I probably shouldn't talk to you. What is this? I said, well, I haven't affected you. You chat, I chat. And then it dawned on me. She liked me. She saw something in me that probably didn't exist in her own marriage. And this is the problem. People have their reasons for getting married. Not all of them are based in this. Not all of them are based in anything, but I want to get married. And I admit, on a lust level, I was totally attracted to her. But not just that. I have an ability to connect with Asians. And when I was at that rec center, there was a few Asian women that came in there, and they all talked to me. And we got along. And you got a lot of these white women that were uppity and stuck up. And I said, man, and even the guys said, Mexican men, white guys, all various trades, you got away with the women. I said, no, I don't. Mike, they don't talk to us. They talk to you. I didn't date any of them. I did platonically. There was a Hispanic older woman and a white woman named Jan. Jan had a very short haircut, but she had a beautiful body. She'd asked me to rub her too in the sauna. And when nobody was in there, she said, I like it when you rub right here. I said, well, I'm going to go right down that shirt. She goes, go ahead. As long as nobody was. I was naughty, but they asked me. I just obeyed. But I learned something about women. I learned a lot about women. They can be married and have the hots for you and sending signals. And I've had more married women come on to me now as an adult than single, ever. A single, attractive woman has no interest in me. She'll go after another married man. A married woman who's good looking will come after me because they see my free spiritedness. They see my uniqueness, and they're attracted to that because they're in a boring ass marriage because they married him for his money. The sex isn't good. The conversation sucks. I learned these things. But those women aren't going to marry me because I'm not the cash cow. I work. I have no debt. But I ain't going to spoil them financially. Women, monkey branch. They're always looking for another limb to grab. I learned this. And they're talking about it on YouTube. Courting is a forgotten custom. I don't even know what courting looks like. Anybody want to offer? What does courting look like? What is it supposed to be? How do you get to know each other? You know, back in the days, both the parents had to be there. Well, I'm 59. I'm not going to have mommy and daddy of a 50-something-year-old woman at the coffee shop giraffe necking on us. I'm not doing it. Sorry. Hello, Tony. Tony, how are you? And I'm sorry, I get talking and I don't always see the comments. My bad. There should be international dating for marriage without sex until marriage, period. Absolutely. Do I believe it's biblical after divorce to remarry? According to what pastors that I've sat under said, they say no. Have I been married a couple times? Yes, I have. As a Christian man, yes, I have. I grew up in an abusive home. I grew up with my mother being silent treatment, weaponizing silence, not talking to my dad. My mom would move out and get a condo. My dad would go get an apartment and they separate and then they get back together. It's just stupid. That stuff went on and on and on. Crazy stuff that I went through. And did that have any effect on me in trying to choose a mate? Absolutely. When you don't grow up with a good foundation of a family with appropriate love and touch and affirmation, and no, my parents never sexualized me or anything like that, but my mother and dad were abusive. My mother was very immature for her age and did a lot of crazy things. But that does weigh in. It weighs in very, very negatively. Hey, Irishy, how are you? Oh, it is. It's real. It's 3 pounds. As adults, we should create situations beyond sex if we want meaningful connections. But it is hard. Boy meets girl, girl meets boy. Most relationships start out as attraction based, at least for men. I don't know too many men that are going to go up to a 300-pound woman and say, oh, I love her. She's the greatest conversationalist. Most men are going to go, wow, she's a knockout when they're looking at a pretty girl. And what is really strange is just because a woman has looks doesn't mean she has intellect. Just because a woman has looks doesn't mean she's sweet. Just because a woman has looks doesn't mean that she's a lady. On the contrary, some of those cute petite women will bust your balls, man, in more ways than one, and not necessarily in the bedroom. Sometimes the average women, not the obese, not the pencil-thin anorexic queens, can be nicer. When you're down, they'll put their arm around you, rub your back, and run their fingers through your hair and cook you a nice meal. And that's what you want in the long haul, right? Companionship. And I do not like the dog obsession that women have with dogs. I don't like it. I'm not going to lie. That off-puts me. But when I look at people, we men don't choose the golden retriever or the black lab type of woman. Golden retriever and black labs are probably the best dispositioned dogs. You don't want Shih Tzus and Poodles and Yappy Chihuahuas because they're very fussy, finicky, and make a lot of racket. But Black Labs and Golden Retrievers have the best all-around disposition. And that's what you want when it comes to a woman. There's actually a test you can take to determine which animal you are. I think there's otter, beaver, I can't remember the other two. I've noticed really skinny, petite women tend to be high maintenance. They put unreasonable demands on us men. They tend to be very narcissistic. They tend to weaponize sex as a weapon against us. When they're mad at us, we don't get any. That crap needs to end. We're adults. And in my age, that crap needs to end. I like pugs myself. I think they're cute. I remember there was a family living down the street from where I lived in Colorado, and they had a pug, and I remember the pug came up to me, and I said, "Hug the pug," and all the kids and everybody started laughing. I have a black pug named Doug. I'm a pig. I'm a pig. What do you mean you're a pig? The one thing I noticed about pugs is because their face was changed by the Chinese, I think it was. And, lady, I don't know if I want to marry a pit bull. I might get bit. But a pug, sometimes their breathing is, when they're breathing real heavy, they snort. But they're cute. I love pugs. You're a spirit animal pig. I like piggies, but I don't like them when they get massive. I just wish they could stay cute like Babe. That movie made me cry. So sad when they took the mama out of there in the slaughterhouse, and that broke my heart. And piggy go, "Mama." I'm like, oh, don't do that. Oh, that bothered me. We don't bite hard. I used to buy trucks. They were out of the UK by a company called Corgi. Had the little dog, but they made detailed replica working trucks. One of the best in the business. Toy trucks. Hi, cute kitty kitty. Haven't seen you in a minute. I mean, I remember I got down on the floor. My mother had one of those Pekingese or Shih Tzus or whatever, and I got down. I thought nothing of it. Dog would let me pet him, but when I put my face down, that dog came up and nipped my nose. I went, dang, you mother effer. Never put your face down by a little dog. Ever. Dating, it's an American thing. And it's not right. We do it because we've been doing it. We do a lot of things in America that aren't biblically right. Celebrating Halloween, that's not biblical. Celebrating Easter is not biblical. I don't celebrate Easter. I celebrate and commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I don't celebrate Christmas. There's nothing in the Bible that tells us to do that. And people think I'm loony. And I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. They ban all the holidays. There's nothing wrong with Thanksgiving. And they won't even celebrate that. The Bible tells us to be people of thankfulness. And Abraham Lincoln set aside a day out of the year to give thanks. How is that pagan? And I don't believe it's wrong to celebrate somebody's birthday or the 4th of July. I don't believe that that's a sin. Easter, Christmas, and Halloween gets into all kinds of pagan roots. All of it. Oh, yes, Irish. That stuff all originated over there. None of that originated in America. That all originated in the old European world, and it's steeped into some dark stuff. I like Celtic culture, but there are aspects of Celtic culture that are dark. I don't do anything with that. Easter Rising, it's a huge memorial. Really? Thanksgiving is the least majored on holiday in the United States. Have you all noticed that? People say, oh, happy Turkey Day. Happy Turkey Day. I don't think the turkeys are happy. You might want to check yourself. That's a bad day to be a turkey in the United States. Did you know Ben Franklin wanted to make the turkey the national symbol? I like Ben Franklin, but I'm glad he didn't get his way. The American turkey. Please. 4th of July was for independence. And I don't believe there's anything pagan about that. I don't believe nationalism is wrong. Being patriotic is not a sin. Turkeys are very mean. We got wild ones out here. I hit one night, but it didn't kill it. I was coming back from downtown a couple of years ago, coming home, and I slowed down for the railroad grade crossing, and as I started approaching him, someone bam up against the grill. And I went, what the heck was that? My headlights caught this fluttering. It's damn wild turkey running around in the swamp. We got wild pigs around here. I saw one running by one day. I said, is that a pig? They got them all over Florida. They got them here too, but I don't see them as much. You don't want to play with them pigs. Those pigs are not your friend. I take allopurinol. I got gout attacks many years ago. Didn't know what it was. Big toe, my knee, my ankles would swell up. And people thought it was alcohol. I don't drink. They think it is too much purines in the diet. So I take an allopurinol a day and it helps flush that out. I don't get the attacks anymore. Man, when your toe swells up and a sheet touches it, it feels like a sledgehammer. Gout, it's where it causes crystalline formations in the joint. It is painful like a toothache. Good for you, Will. Yeah, it's brought on by alcohol, but it's also hereditary or too much purines-rich food. I'm like, it must be hereditary. Me, I don't drink any alcohol. No. What is Janssen and Janssen? I don't know. Ben Franklin had gout. What's haloperidol? I've never heard of that. Too much venison, huh? Well, yeah, they say that the high protein foods are the worst. I read the list of stuff you're supposed to avoid. It was ridiculous. Fish, chicken, meat, soy, this, rice. What are you supposed to do? Drink water for the rest of your life? Adolf Kors had gout. He said cherry juice cleared it up. So I drank bottles of that. That didn't do a thing. I love cherry juice, but it didn't clear it up. A lot of myths about gout. Ugh. They used to call it the king's big toe because he ate such rich food. Can you imagine back in the day getting that and not knowing what it was? Ooh. Thank God for doctors and medical science. Cherry juice lie. I was buying cherry. I lived in Washington, so I get cherries for a good price. Irish butter, that sounds good. I don't eat a lot of red meat. I did drink a lot of tea in China. But no, I don't want to be a legalist. A legalist is adding laws to the grace of God. You listening to me, you need to walk with God and be in tune with what He wants you to do. You don't follow Michael. You don't follow anybody else. You follow Christ. If something is doubtful for you, then it's wrong. Oh, I'm awake. I just got up at the butt crack of dawn over here. I do every day. I've never had goat milk. You and chicken and pug, they make their own butter and stuff. Did you say you made cheese or no? Rochar, where are you from? Is it Rochar? I buy this Danish butter at the Food Lion, and it is pretty good. It's right about the same price as Land O'Lakes, so I thought, what the heck? The sticks are bigger than the Land O'Lakes. So do you have kids? And what does your husband do? Oh, like it's Portuguese. Really? Interesting. What was my answer? Love is the answer. Light of the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. I had, well, not me. My mother got 2 goats, but I ended up taking care of them when I was in high school. Love the goats. I'd get off school on a nice day. I'd go sit in the goat yard and come up and lick my knees. And I'd jump from granite boulder to granite boulder. We lived on a rocky piece of property, an acre in Prescott, Arizona, outside the city. And I'd jump from rock. Man, they would chase me, headbutt me. We'd play. And I'd always call them, hey, goat. And they'd sit there. My bedroom wall was behind their little shelter. I had a nice big bale of hay in there for them to sit up on. I had a big galvanized metal horse trough for the water. Oh my gosh. When the moon was out, I'd be asleep in my bedroom. I'd hear, bam, bam. I'm like, shoot, they're headbutting the wall again. I'd come out my bedroom door and go around the enclosure and I'd say, goat, I'm trying to sleep. Now stop it. And the goat would go, nah. And I'd sit there and I'd push its head and they liked that. And I'd push and it'd push back. They liked to play. I'm like, oh my gosh, when they started doing the headbutting, I'm like, forget it. They like doing that. It's stimulation. I thought, I'm going to get me a Viking helmet. When I was driving the school bus and I had bad kids, I wanted to get a Viking helmet. I was going to wear it on the bus and say, y'all don't behave. I'm going to headbutt everybody on the bus. Your jaws don't work because of your... What are you talking about? Love, you are saying weird stuff. Is anybody seeing that or is it just me? I started doing it years ago. I like ocean liners. And if you look at the deck of the Titanic down on the ocean floor, you could see the chain links fed from down in the forecastle, and they come up and run on the track and they connect to the anchor chains. And I always love that. And I always say I'm a slave of Christ. Hey, hello, Colette. How are you doing, lady? Yeah, Roshar, I have no idea. I didn't say you were deaf, but you're saying weird stuff. What is Haperdal or Haliperdal and jaw and all this? You're saying stuff that doesn't make sense. Well, let me rephrase that to me. Slave of Christ, yes. Colette, I am so glad you're here. How are you feeling? Colette's in New Zealand, folks. She's been through a tunnel of trouble, and God has spared her life. Praise God. You too. Is the nausea finally starting to go away? Colette, you would like chicken. She's got some cool farm stuff going on. She got goats and chickens and makes butter and cottage cheese and everything. I would not mind visiting Chicken's property and Colette. Both are beautiful. Good old Kentucky. I've never visited anybody in Kentucky. I stayed in Elizabethtown at a KOA in 86, went traveling through there in 1986. Yeah, Colette has been through the mill. What happened to Sang? They asked me to stop eating my horse feed on here and left, so I'm going to go back and eat. That's not right. I stopped eating and left. That ain't right. Colette, you're going to laugh, but I said this to Eric the other day. If I was rich and didn't have to work, I would come over there and house sit. And I don't mean this any other way. Be fun to meet you and keep you company during this time. Sit and talk and look out the window and look at New Zealand. I think that'd be awesome. Yep. I'm going to tell y'all something. It's going to sound like a strange thing I'm about to say. It's been cold this week. So cold that you haven't been seeing me wearing this stuff. No, these aren't panties. That's a shirt. It's so hot down here. And that's what started me doing all that. That's why I started wearing these cut-off tops, and I cut all my sweatshirts out. Most of you that don't live in the South don't understand this. Minnesota gets humid in the summer, but the humidity in Georgia is the deepest humidity I've ever seen in my life, even over the Philippines and Hong Kong. Now, Hong Kong is crazy. The high and the low moves by 1 degree in summer. If it's 91 in the day, it's going to drop to 90. I'd lay on a thick towel on my bed in Hong Kong, no AC in the flat. I'm drenched, wet, no blankets on me. I have my underwear on, that's it. Dripping wet. And if I didn't have AC here, it'd be the same. But the humidity is so raw. And I'm very self-conscious about, I don't like body odors and all that. I'm a clean guy. I go to work I wear a black shirt and I sweat. And so much salt comes out of me, there's salt rings on my shirt. Very embarrassing to me because I don't care. People are going to look at that. There's nothing attractive about seeing a man come out, big old sweat rings. I'm not talking about yellow stained t-shirts. That's a whole category of disgusting. I will never wear white shirts ever in my life. But I will go to the bathroom, shut the door, take off my shirt, rinse it under the faucet, wring it out, and put it back on when it's that damn hot. That way the salt gets out of there. And it keeps me cool for about an hour and a half. Because if any breeze hits me, it's like air conditioning. I could not wear professional clothing. I remember in Hong Kong when the Chinese would come out of all those office towers. 3-piece suit, t-shirt, undershirt, tie. They come out at lunchtime. And in just the short few minutes that they're out, there's sweat coming through the suit, the jacket, all the way on the back. They're wet. I'm like, who would want to wear all that clothing here? And that's why you see me wearing skimpy stuff. It's comfortable. It is too hot to wear a t-shirt that's just going to get drenched. The chain has just been something I've done for years. Just bling. I worked with rough kids on bus routes. And when I did that, it became a conversation piece as well, in a strange way, as a form of respect. Street cred. Mister, I love the chain. The Hispanics, the blacks love the chain. Because, let's be honest, glasses, short hair. In many cultures, they're going to think, oh, he's a nerd. The chain offsets that. You pull up in a bus with a bunch of rough kids and they come up the steps. Whoa, dude, where'd you get the necklace? That's awesome. It's disarming. Hey, Matthias, how are you? I love Colette. I've given her a hard time in the past. We've had a few disagreements, but I love that woman. I've grown to respect her. I'm glad I pushed through my own BS. We've got a lot of good women on this channel. Listen to me, women. I talk about women, but I've got good women on my channel. Fact. I have respect for many of you. Never forget that. Never forget that. And just a reminder, I don't know who did it, but somebody accidentally or intentionally put user on hide or something the other day. User has never, ever been a problem on the channel. I don't know who did it. I didn't even know it was done when I was talking about that little chump that was live broadcasting me the other day who wants to celebrate in his lunacy. But somebody kicked him out of chat, and user has never, ever, ever crossed a line. And I'm sure that it could have happened accidentally. Somebody trying to get somebody who was and accidentally blasted him. I don't know. We got to be careful, folks. I don't want good people getting timed out. It's good to see you. I'm glad to see you're coming back a little more and more, Colette. Don't overdo it. Don't make yourself get nausea. We all have understanding, but I'm glad to see you at the same time. They claim cider vinegar does a lot. When I get an outbreak of poison ivy and I get those weeping little blisters all over my arm, cider vinegar and a Q-tip. I'll bathe, do a gentle wash, and then I just dab them. Cider vinegar is faster at clearing up poison ivy and stops the weeping. Calamine lotion is a lie. I threw it out. That stuff don't do nothing but make it worse. Leaves all this dry, pink, scaly stuff all over your skin. I'm through with it. Doesn't work. So I'll cider vinegar, dab all the weepy stuff, and after it calms down, I'll break off an aloe stem off of my plant back there and gently slather that on. Aloe and the cider will reduce and run that poison ivy out quicker than anything else. And nobody told me that. I found that by trial and error. Hey, Fassi, thank you for that, and glad you're able to come and show up here. Garlic, ginger are two underrated roots. And they're good. Let me take that back. No. Ginger's the root. The garlic is not. Thank you, Colette, for coming in. Thank you, Colette. I want everybody to know something. I and all of you should take that as a high badge of honor. This is not your normal YouTube. This is the real deal. Right here. I'm not the professional rolling in the dough. I'm not these, whatever you want to call them, mental trash polluting the internet with their waste of time. We got a grown woman who's been ailing and she gets benefit and encouragement looking at the comments, listening to this, and it gives her hope and it makes her day. You know, remember we were all kids, you couldn't wait to get home, see your favorite TV show? I love it when this has become people's favorite show. That's a badge to me, and it should be a badge to all of you because we're not just another channel. And I told people, I'm not in competition to anybody. I'm sorry. Maybe you're going to think I'm arrogant. Now, you know, Mike, you're using that analogy, it's sunk. Forget that it's sank. This channel's like the Titanic. There's only one. And I am happy about that. I don't want to be like anybody else. The Titanic wasn't like anybody else. You say, well, it was like the Olympic. Yeah, it had some similarities, but it was unique. She has to put the phone down because the nausea comes in and she's trying to read the text and look at the screen. She said it so I can say it. That poor woman had an accident in her house and banged her head really good. They had to operate on her up here. She went into an induced coma. She got sepsis. To survive all that is a miracle. And I do get up early, love. I do. It's part of my routine. Early to bed, early to wise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I don't know about the wealthy part. But wealthy, yeah. Compared to billions of people in the world that live on less than $2 a day. Perspective changes everything, don't it? I read about it. When she had told me that in the Discord, I said, wow, what is sepsis? And when I read it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that doesn't sound like you can just rip open a Curad Band-Aid and stop the problem. Wow. Tiny, are you out of here? Thanks for coming in. I like your name. Tiny, what state did you say you're in? I'm so sorry. What state? I think most of us are in the cold right now, except Colette. Colette's over there in summertime, I believe. How can you not smile and name like Tiny Mother? That's cute. And Colette, Tiny Mother says, Colette, I hope you feel better and have a fast recovery. 0 degrees in northern Michigan. Okay, now you're getting up there. I didn't know it was common, Matthias. Utah. What area, Tiny? I've been through a good portion of Utah. You east, west, north, south, central, Salt Lake, Ogden, Ferndale, Moab. I want to say something about Moab. I went through there when I was young with my dad. That was a dead, quiet area. Now it's just blown up with the 4x4s and the river rafters and the kayakers. When I was a kid, that was boring drive. Sleepy little towns, a bait and a tackle shop. That I cannot believe how much things have changed. Moab is a zoo in the summer. A zoo. Colette, ask your doctor about magnesium glycinate. Helps me a lot neurologically, says Cheryl. Hello, Cassandra. Welcome from the big Lone Star State. Yeah, Moab. Man, the Green River, I think it's called the Green River, runs through there. It's amazing how places I went through as a kid were nothing. Then with the 4x4s and all that, they blew up. And people go out to Moab to wreck beautiful trucks that they put too much money into, thinking they can get through anything and roll it and flip it and bash it and dent it. To all you rednecks that like destroying your trucks, please park them with a signed title in my driveway. I will find a good home for them. Stop that. I hate that. It makes me sick when people blow their money and ruin good stuff. Does anybody get mad at that? You got a classic 60s Bronco and you're going to do dumb stuff at Moab. Give me the truck. I will drive that thing till the wheels fall off. And I won't drive it the way you do. Crazy people. I'm glad you got money to burn. But, oh, that bothers me. Yeah, it is their money. Moab is, now I got to remember this. It's southern Utah, if I remember right. I'd have to look on a map. In fact, I can do that. I don't remember how far from Arizona we had to go to get up in there. Cheryl, you can type it into YouTube. Moab 4x4, anything like that. It's canyons, rocky area. People love to take their 4x4s and do dumb things out there. Climb up a vertical wall of rock and then wonder why the thing went ba-doom, 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 and wrecked. Well, because there are certain things you cannot do with a truck. Even when I have my Deuce, I wouldn't drive into that stuff. That's stupid. You're going to wreck. Moab is located. There's Blanding. Okay, it is southwest. If you can find Blanding. So the part where Utah comes at four corners, you got Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. You follow the New Mexico-Colorado border up on the map, and it's not central, but it's still south, but it's getting closer to central eastern Utah. Town of Moab on Highway 191, Blanding. That was dead area. They got Arches National Park there, Glen Canyon National Rec Area, and Canyonlands National Park. A lot of beautiful area. One thing about Utah, you can go into some pretty wilderness area where there's nobody. I am still a believer in locking hubs. I don't like all this modern crap with a switch. And that's where I'm old school. You can actually get locking hubs on the Deuce. Now that has a switch, but I'm okay with it because that's a whole different. I had a switch on the dash that I flipped and it engaged the front axle. But you can take out the hubs and put in lockers on it. I said Verndale. No, that's Vernal. So where are you, Tiny? Where in Utah are you? I'm looking at the map. And of course, I went up Lake Powell. I cannot believe how much water has been sucked out of that lake. Like 150 feet low. And the surface area of that missing water is massive. Massive. The only problem with locking hubs is in real cold winter climates, sometimes it gets stuck with all the ice. But, yeah, you're right. You don't have all that internal stuff to be acting up. Who's Frank? I like maps, and I cannot lie. I don't use GPS. The voice on GPS irritates me. Makes me have hives. I do not like these automated voices. Even my speaker bar. Bluetooth connected. Volume max. Sounds like she's talking with cotton balls in her mouth. Do you need to tell me when it's volume max? No, you don't. Escalante. A lot of national parks are national monuments in Utah. By the Provo Canyon. All right, Provo. Let's head to Provo. There's Provo. Is that outside Provo, Tiny? I remember the Wasatch Mountain Range. Uinta National Forest. I remember going through there many times. Capitol Reef. I remember going to Isithia Stores State Park. Where is that? They got a fossilized Isithiosaur there. I've been through Zion. Zion is beautiful. No, there's not time for work yet. Here's Friday. Now tomorrow I'm off. Gotta love Dave. He speaks his mind and doesn't look back. Who's Dave? No, I'm not Frank or Dave. Excuse me. No, I don't have a cold. You ever get that? You sneeze. You got a cold? Are you sick? No. I wake up every morning and I sneeze a couple times. Tiny mother. Where is she? The Escalante staircase. I don't remember that. I'm sure I've been there. Parts of the mouth of the canyons are coming from Orem. Last time that I was in Utah would have been $1996. Utah Lake. It's hard to believe that Salt Lake was so huge long time ago, and it's a shadow of its former self. Snowville. I remember going through Snowville. You talk about a hot, burning hot town in the summer. Like Snowville, it's all sagebrush and hills. You became an atheist. Why? Yeah, Colorado has a lot of dinos. They found Triceratops, Colfax and Broadway. Triceratops when they dug out Coors Field. Northwestern Colorado is Dinosaur National Monument. And just outside of Lakewood, up on C470, you can go to Dinosaur Ridge. And I took the kids there many times. Dinosaur footprints all up the side, tons of them. Now that's fascinating. Fascinating. Yes, Cheryl. Yes. User was not a problem. User comes in here regularly. The problem is if somebody hid him on here, I don't know how to unhide because I see the chat now, but when the video uploads, hello, Liz. Les, how are you? Oh, gosh, 1996. Girl, from when I was a kid, it's huge. Like I said, Moab was a dry, dusty nothing. No, it's a hot spot. River rafting, kayakers, campers, RVs, 4x4s, motorcycles, mountain bikes. I mean, it has become a mecca for outdoor everything. Well, all I can say to you, Omega, is, and I'm going to be honest, don't take offense, but you can have a problem with God, but if you're going to be on the wrong side of that, is it worth going to hell for eternity? Let me tell you something. I have a hard time with things about God, but He's God. He gets to call the shots. And at least, even though we don't understand everything about Him, He sent His Son to die for us so that we can be saved. I'd rather be on that side of things than the other. Watching the clock for all time, I understand that. I don't have time to watch the clock. My morning hours go by fast. We got the plant alarm, and it's so cool when it rings at quitting time. It sounds like a school bell, and I always yell, "Where's Screech? Saved by the bell." We were talking about work the other day, and they said, you know what? When Screech died, he didn't have a big funeral turnout. They said he was so arrogant that they didn't even want to commemorate his death. I didn't realize that. People, be careful how you live your life. Because when you're dead, they may just say good riddance. Que sera, sera. I wouldn't want that said about me. Now I'm not going to get into all that I don't even know how to say your name, Prod, but the issue of God is settled with me. He's made Himself clear to me. That's all I can tell you. You'll have to do some digging, and you'll have to do your own. You're gonna have to go after what you need to go after. I don't give out my email because of trolls, but if you get on Discord, Tiny Mother, my Discord is 77 Titanic 77, the numbers. 77 Titanic 77. That's a good, safe place to chat because I have a few people on there, not everybody. Everybody thinks I get on video with them. I don't. I might have videoed just a couple people on there. I don't do any video at all. It's just texting back and forth when I check it. Then I check it every day. And I don't believe that you are a troll at all. But my email, I guard that. I don't do Instagram. I don't do Facebook anymore. I don't do anything but YouTube. I keep it simple. And when I feel comfortable and get to know people, then we exchange numbers. Then it's easier just to talk. Why are we supposed to do good? Are we because you want the alternative? Then we all pay for that. I'd rather have people be good than somebody think, well, I'm going to go rob from you or I'm going to beat you up just because I want to. Then you got people doing that anyway. But self-control benefits all of us. You know, some guy has a fight with his wife. I don't want him to go out there and get mad in his truck and decide to take it out on all of us on the road. Good is a good thing. Even if people don't want to believe in God, good is a good thing because it protects us all. Ever, what side of the fence are you on? I'm curious. Are you a Christian or agnostic or where are you? Tiny, you deleted a comment. I didn't see it. Doing good benefits everybody. Doing bad. What in the world? Dropping my oats. Sowing my oats. Man, I'm trying to be good at pouring it in my hand, and I still miss. Stepped on another one. Crazy. And that's all right, Tiny. It is good stuff. Brittany, I love you. You want me to be like that guy at CU Boulder that ate the cabbage in the library? He pulled a cabbage out of his dang backpack in the CU Boulder library. He's on YouTube. And eats behind students studying just to see what the effect is. That's crazy. He even brought a little griddle in there and started sizzling some. Oh my gosh. Mina! That's so funny. Hello, Heather. That's funny. But stuff people do just to do social experiments. Or the woman who's very pretty and walks into the library and sits at a table across from somebody she doesn't know and just stares. Doesn't say a word. Just stares. And the person say, can I help you? And she doesn't even budge. Now, I'm going to be honest, that would unnerve me. I'd be like, what I'd probably say is, are you doing a YouTube video or something? I'd be looking around for somebody with the camera. Probably, you talking to me? You know, I've got a rant going here. I don't read every single comment. I try to. If God is good, so why shouldn't you want to be too? That's right. That's awesome, Michael. Thank you. I quit gambling online. Good for you, man. Brittany, talk to me. Don't leave me. Talk to me. There's a reason for that, probably. There's a reason for that. Because when you have families that raise their children to be heathen and pagan, you're going to save the kids? They're going to bring that into whatever. We see this in America. We see this we see it in Minneapolis. Somali culture doing Somali things, and they want to come to Minneapolis to make it little Somalia. I don't think so. I don't think so. Look at all the criticism that's dished out when Americans go to another culture and try to Americanize it. But they can come over here and pollute our culture and we're supposed to accept it? Hypocrisy, double standard, wrong. You want to be Somali and you like Somali world, then stay. But this is the U.S. Maine's interfering with the internet again, Cheryl. Some liberal sees you online and they're trying to harass you. You know, Minneapolis used to be a nice place when the Mary Tyler Moore Show was going. But my word, look at what it's become today. Toilet, toilet, da-da-da-da-da-da. Everywhere I go, it is a toilet culture too. It's ridiculous. All this liberalism is just a wrecking ball. That's it. Grown women with salt and pepper hair in their Chrysler Buick LeSabre blocking the whole street. No, I'm not going to move. In her LL Bean plastic jacket. Wow, lady, you're so freaking brave. Let me go down there in my M35A2. Mike, give me a two-way radio. Come on down the street. Get this car out of here, please. And I wouldn't just ram it and kill her. Just pull up with that big bumper and just say, lady, I'm going to tell you now. You can get out or I'm going to shove this car through the entire city of Minneapolis and see how long it takes me to wear the tires off the rims. Because this thing ain't going to stop. I can put it in first, drop it into low, lock the front hubs, and just let off the pedal and just watch your car go like this. What are you going to do, lady? You want to play? My truck needs a workout. What do you want to do? I want to be the person that moves the turds out of the roads. I stepped on a crunchy again. I don't even see it. My floor is clean. You could eat off of it. What is the time? 5:48. I'm logging something in every day. We're trying to establish a pattern with somebody in the neighborhood who's a butthole. Oh my gosh. Got a Scat Pack Challenger. Likes to disturb everybody. He got caught by the police and they told him, knock it off. I would not have 50 liberal ladies after me. They don't like me. Oh, you mean if I was in that truck? Pushing another car out of the way? What are these women so angry about? And I'm just going to say it. None of those women in Minnesota doing what they're doing are pretty. I wouldn't date them. I wouldn't mate them. I wouldn't want to hang out with that. They're awful. Inside and out. Problem is I couldn't use a tow hook and pull the car out of the way. It'd pull the bumper right off. There's nothing to attach to in these cars. Nothing. The whole back of the car is plastic. You ever notice when they wreck, the bumper is part of the front clip now, and when it hits, it just goes boom. You get a forklift, get a big old construction forklift, go down there, beep, beep, lift it up. Go ahead, lady, try to drive off the forks. I dare you. I'd like to get one of those that's, lifts it up 3 floors, drive through town and set it on a building and say, there you go. You can calm down for a while. Daddy, what's that lady doing up there? I have no idea, son. Give adults a timeout like you do kids. Lift the car and park it on the top of an office building. Dad, why is there a Buick LeSabre on the top of Wendy's? I don't know. It must be the special. So many weird shaped heads. Yeah. Shoot. Shoot, even this guy looks more well put together than those liberal women. Gazoom! Hello, dum-dum. Could you just see him showing up in Minneapolis? Oh boy, Earthlings are so stupid. Get Wilma and Betty Flintstone after these liberals. They'd have more spine than those liberals would. Sickening. Gazoo was awesome. Hello, dum-dum. Love that. Yes, I grew up in an era where soft porn was a Sears catalog. JCPenney and the old bra and lingerie section. Wow, you could have fun in the bathroom for a while on that. And they didn't even show what they show now. Just to see a woman standing in a bra was very enticing. Oh, those were the good old days when porn was more pure. Hello, David. National Pornographic. Yes, naked ladies in the far remotes of the earth. Some of them were pretty, too. By the way, I discovered something. There's a lie perpetuated among many women that if you don't wear a bra, your boobs will sag. Well, then what happened in some of these tribes in Africa? You got grown women and they're standing at attention and they don't wear a bra ever. That's a lie. I've met women that don't wear bras and they're at attention. That all has to do with genetics, man. They didn't have bras for centuries, thousands of years, man. A bra is a more recent construct. Thank you, lady. Thanks for coming in. It's always good to see you. Probably, I'm glad you come to this channel. Listen to my chatters. They've got good stuff to say. Listen to my rants. God has proven himself over and over and over. Don't reserve yourself a seat in hell by disbelief. You're smarter than that. There are things that are hard to understand about God, but you should understand love. He sent his son to die for us so that we didn't have to go to hell. And you want to get into this argument about free will and all that. He does give us free will, but he holds us accountable for wrongdoing. You didn't make yourself. You didn't make this universe. You can't even design and make a mango. Think about that. I'd rather be on the side of God and honestly tell him about my struggles I have with him than be on the other side. But thank you for coming. Everybody, ladies, men, have a great day. It's Friday. Be safe. And maybe I could do the auction tonight. Cheryl, you want to bid on my dress? You can open the floor. Let's see if anybody does that. How about Buffalo Bills? Now I'm going for Eric on that one. E-Rock lived in New York and he's behind the Bills. It'd be nice to see the Bills clean it up. All right. Why does God allow any evildoers to exist? I don't know, but I'll give you a short answer, Brittany. Book of Genesis chapter 3. God told them not to eat of the fruit. And that wasn't just somebody ate an apple. That act of willful disobedience, whatever that fruit was, and it wasn't an apple, we don't know what it was. When God saw all that he made, Brittany, he saw that it was good. That's what the Bible says. God saw all that he had made, said it is good. After the fall, he doesn't say that anymore about creation. All right? What he did say is, in the day that you eat of that fruit, thou shalt surely die. And in the Hebrew, it says, dying, thou shalt surely die. Go look at Genesis where it talks about the genealogies. Methuselah was what, 960 years old? Man was designed by God to live forever. We didn't have disease. The animals weren't eating each other. Dinosaurs that scientists try to make them look like T-Rexes, they didn't eat each other. Don't believe me? Look at the millennial reign of Christ. The wolf will lay with the lamb. The infant will play by the snake hole and nothing bad will happen. Because when God made creation, it was in harmony. When we sinned, we infected the hard drive of creation with a virus. Think of your computer. You get a virus in your computer, it ruins things. When we sinned, that's all it took. God is not to blame for the child molester, Adolf Hitler, Mike Nelson when he does something I'm not supposed to. We are. We are to blame. The child molester will be held accountable by God for molesting children. Adolf Hitler will stand before God and give an account for all of his atrocities. So will you. So will I. This is why atheism came into being. People said, if God is good, why is there all this evil in the world? Because man brought it in here. That's why. When the Democrats say that, we can change the earth and save the planet, are you serious? They're not talking about manners. They're not talking about bad driving. They're talking about got to get electric cars. Our behavior is destroying the manners and the planet and values and everything. We are our own worst enemy. Man, women, we sin against God. We brought the curse, not God. And notice something, Brittany, it also says in there at the end of that, in Genesis, the cherubim had the swords flashing back and forth. God said, let's block the way to the tree of life. What? There was a tree of life in that garden that Adam and Eve could have eaten from? Yes. They chose not to. They chose to eat from the forbidden fruit. The only way we can get eternal life is through Christ. So there was a couple choices they could have made. They could have eaten from the tree of life, which they did not. That tree was in there. Read it. That's fascinating to me. Nobody talks about that. Everybody goes on about a dang apple. I'm going to tell you something, folks. An apple's okay looking, but whatever this fruit was, it may not exist. May have been just incredibly attractive to make Eve desire it. And it probably tasted really good. Satan's a liar, and he continues to be a liar. I hope that helps give you somewhat of an answer. But everybody, have a good day. Brittany, everybody, all of us, read the Bible. Read it. If you don't understand God, read it again. If you still don't understand God, read it again. That's my prescription to all of us. God has made himself known in there. All right, folks. Peace out. Be safe. Use your turn signals. Allow a space cushion between you and the vehicle in front of you. Please stop California stopping stop signs and red lights. Come to a complete stop. When the light turns green, don't punch it. Look left and right and make sure the clown ain't running a red light. That's my driving tips for the day. Don't be a dum-dum.